And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Tuesday, May 9th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. The sun is shining after a day and maybe night of rain. I think I had 2.5 inches in my rain gauge this morning, so we needed some rain. Now, hopefully we can have some sunshine. Our program each Tuesday is presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and it's time for today's Health Minute, brought to you by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. Recent studies have shown a drop-off in cancer screening during the first year of the pandemic has led to an increase in people presenting with advanced cancer diagnosis. This includes breast cancer. Mammograms are a type of screening test used to look for and diagnose breast cancer. They can detect signs of breast cancer early when it is highly treatable. Symptoms of breast cancer include finding a new lump or mass in the breast, swelling, skin dimpling, breast or nipple pain, nipple discharge, or retraction and swollen lymph nodes under the arm. Even if you aren't showing symptoms of breast cancer, or if you don't have a family history of breast cancer, you still need to get a mammogram each year if you are 40 and older. If you have a family history of breast or ovarian cancer, you may need to start screening earlier. No matter your level of risk, it's crucial to be proactive with your health and get screened regularly for breast cancer. For more information, visit VanderbiltWilsonCountyHospital.com. Well, we feature the city of Mount Juliet twice a month here, and this is one of those Tuesdays, and we want to welcome Mayor James Maness. He is with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And how are things with you?
Oh, things are just great.
And not only you, the city of Mount Juliet.
The city of Mount Juliet, we're moving ahead, trying to press forward, make every day a little better than the last.
Well, you did have a Board of Commissioners meeting last night, which we can talk about. And by the way, I do see you're wearing your UT shirt this morning. We won't hold that against you here. Their baseball team has come up a little in the last few weeks, I understand.
Yeah, I don't follow the baseball as closely as I do the stuff in the fall, but yes, it looks like it's maybe headed in the right direction. We hope. I mean, it's definitely not what we saw last year. So
not yet.
I think they raised the level of expectations last year, and this year it's come off with a. Well, you know, I guess you can't win them all, as the saying goes.
It's going to be an interesting SEC tournament, though, I think, and we'll see what happens after the dust lifts there. But back to the city of Mount Juliet. How long have you been mayor?
Oh, a little over 2 years.
Okay. You were on the Board of Commissioners prior to that.
Correct.
And how long actually been in city government? I guess that's what I should ask.
Well, first elected back in November of 2010, so just a little bit over 12 years now.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm old enough to be in anything for 12 years, though.
Well, you have seen quite a number of changes in those 12 years in Mount Juliet, and hopefully a lot for the better. You've dealt with a lot of growth, no doubt.
Definitely so. And, you know, I had a phone call with somebody over the weekend, and they were like complaining about the farmers market, and they said it's just not as big as some. And they said, and I was like, well, I can remember when we got the grant. And, you know, it just recently came up on my timeline. It's a picture of me, and I was taking my youngest daughter to register for kindergarten. And, you know, that was it. We got the grant. We thought we had conquered the world with that. And, you know, the level of expectations are always there. People move in. They don't always understand the history of it. As I was explaining to you, our fire department hadn't even been in existence for 10 years. So, yeah, there's been a little bit of change over the last 12 years.
Well, let's get to last night's meeting, and anything newsworthy there we could get that out of the way first this morning.
Well, sure. I think probably the biggest item people will be most interested in is, we had a deferral last meeting for Costco, and last night we were able to pass that. One little change, we had one little gap on that as far as a road improvement. I got that settled. Met with them about 4 o'clock before our meeting, and we're able to get all that squared away. Did one amendment to it, passed unanimously. So we have it completed on second reading. I think they'll probably be June, July time frame through their last pass in through the Planning Commission.
What does this mean to you? Justin Beasley talked quite a bit about what it's going to do for the city of Mount Juliet, and really what a step forward it seems to be. What's your perspective?
Well, this is a regional draw. It's not one of those things where, if you have one store here and another one comes in, it's very similar across the street. That may not draw traffic in from the outside. Some of the store that was in store A may go over to B. So in some ways you're just moving stuff around. But this retailer it draws people in regionally, and we have a number of people in the city that have reached out to me that they go to Franklin quite regularly to shop. So keeping that dollars here locally in Wilson County and Mount Juliet, sent that spin here, is just one way to recapture that revenue into our city, into our school systems. And this is one of those things people are willing to travel for this. So, we can attract people as far out as Cookeville back into the city, back into Wilson County. The eastern side of Nashville, it seems to be an obvious destination for them as well to really bring those tax dollars back into our city and bring them back to Wilson County. And it's not just that establishment alone. People are there, they're going to eat and other things as they come into the city.
Well, the sales tax itself is going to not only benefit Mount Juliet, but it'll benefit the county the way the thing is split, and as you mentioned, help our schools. So it's really, I guess, a win-win all around.
Yeah, it really is, and this is a way. One of the things I've talked about is trying to help out with the school system in any way possible, and this is one of those things, making sure these make it here at least to Wilson County so that we can get those tax revenues back into our school system. Now,
you said a few more, I guess, formalities, things you have to do, and then the ball would get rolling maybe by July. I believe that's what, something
Yes.
like that. What then how long before the doors are open and business? You have any time frame there?
The time frame they said last night, they wanted to be open by May of 2024.
So about a year.
About a year, and that seems very aggressive to getting at it. So, and we think it's a good time frame. Get them up, get them rolling, be there in place for back to school shopping. So, I think it'd be a good time. I think that's an obtainable goal, considering that there's a lot of work already done at the site. It's almost pad ready.
For those who don't know, not that familiar with the location, exactly where is this going to be?
This is going in a development called Legacy Point, which is on the north side of the interstate, right at the intersection of Golden Bear and I-40.
Okay, Golden Bear and I-40. Well, that's a little bit closer to Lebanon.
That is, yeah.
Come to think of it.
That's not far.
All right. Okay, what else last night in your meeting?
That was probably the biggest item that we took on. The other one was we did a stormwater credit. As we start our stormwater utility, this is a credit type. It's a document that defines the credits that you can take advantage of to get credits back on stormwater, or if you're maintaining detention and retention systems as a business, even offer some homeowners some ways to reduce their stormwater utility bill. So that's been a little work to get from point A to point B, but we're there on it, and I was excited to see that one get passed, because I know this is one, being that the stormwater utility is a new thing for us. I know this is something that a lot of people have been asking about.
Well, how is this going to save? How are you going to save the people a little money? Everybody's interested in getting a lower bill.
Yeah. Well, it actually prescribes some ways that it's like, if you're a homeowner, that you can take steps with rain barrels to retain runoff on site, rain gardens, and there's some documents in that explain how to take advantage of those credits. If it's commercial or industrial property, ways for the owner to take an active role in maintaining the detention and retention pond, making sure when we have like a rain event that it is properly retained there on that site, and it's not just immediately flowing downstream. We can insist all these things be constructed to control stormwater runoff, but if they're not maintained, they quickly lose their purpose if they fill up through with settlement, or you have a breach of a wall on one of the ponds, and those things all have to be maintained. So this is a way that we can try to, one, get the utility going and partner with these folks to make sure that they are maintained.
All right, we are about ready to take a break here. Just a reminder that Mount Juliet Mayor James Manus is my guest this morning in our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us again. Our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. James Manus, Mayor of Mount Juliet, is with us. Anything else from last night's meeting you want to mention? If so, fine. If not, we'll move on to something else.
We had some rezones on there. Those wound up getting deferred. I think it's an ongoing conversation that we'll be having around those developments. That's probably the biggest things. That's not a lot of other stuff around budget amendments. It's I'd call it more just the run and maintain of a city type things.
Yeah. Excuse me. I know that every so often you have to think about expanding your boundaries if you want to, and there's a word for this that doesn't come to mind right now. But as far as expanding the city limits, growth in area for Mount Juliet, are you wanting to do much of that? Talk about that a little bit, if you will.
Well, I mean, that's a good question. It's one that we actually took on, and I don't know if it's the last meeting or the meeting before that, when we brought back several urban growth boundary map proposals.
That's urban.
That's
growth.
the word.
Okay, that's the word.
Brought back several of those proposals on it, and we had several options on those things, and over time we kind of whittled it down. We passed, and when I'm very supportive of this map. The map that we passed was largely just cleanup of some lots. For example, like the neighborhood I live in, for example, the county line was actually moved at one point by the state to incorporate some of the lots on there because they weren't zoned for Wilson County schools, yet Metro could not get to them because they wouldn't leave the county to come to them. So through some work with the state and Metro, we in the county government here, we got those lines moved. However, no one updated the urban growth boundary. So these houses at the time wanted to be annexed in the city, but could not be. They were in Wilson County, and it created a little pocket there for emergency services. So that's an example of cleanup. And we had maybe 4 or 5 other lots on Lebanon Road where it was one lot deep on the urban growth boundary, meaning the business in some cases would be in the city or would like to be in the city or annexed, but the lot behind them fell outside the urban growth boundary, so it couldn't be annexed. And that, in some cases, would be their septic tank would be out there. So you'd have part of it want to be in the city, and then you'd have the other part where the city couldn't annex. Some cleanup on some things like that. The other one was the yacht club up there. There was some efforts by one of our commissioners to try to get all that included. But far as what changed on it, it's very little. I mean, we're sending over very, very limited changes to the county to consider. There had been more proposals, and some had wanted to do more and include more into it. And my thoughts was this: is I posed some of the things that were being considered, and I said, my fear is that someday that somebody might actually try to annex this into it, and it's just for me, we've got to, as a city, we've got to focus on what we've got as far as fixing the issues there before we go out expanding into other things. Wilson County has a lot going on as well in those things, and I'm just like, let this develop out in the county if they want to develop it. It doesn't have to be done inside the city of Mount Juliet. For us, I think our best approach is to just focus on what we have instead of trying to expand and extend what we have out into the
Let me ask
rural areas.
this, and I'm not trying to create any, I'm just asking. Your relationship with, you're, first of all, you're mayor of Mount Juliet. Mount Juliet is your major concern, no doubt. But you are in Wilson County. There's the county of Wilson, Randall Hutto, mayor, and the county commission that you no doubt have to work with sometimes. And I'm wondering about your relationship there, and also the JECDB. I believe you have somebody that is designated to be on that that board. So how does all of this work? You have a good relationship there. Are things being done as far as Mount Juliet's concerned through the county, through the JCDB, to basically your satisfaction, let's say?
Well, yeah, we continue to work with the JDSB, and the new director is doing a wonderful job. He's gone out of his way to make sure that we've been included in conversations. Is really trying to find out what the city wants and how he can best partner with us, and we can work together for attracting things. We've kind of encouraged, we're not as much interested into industrial recruitment into the city, but we've talked about other things as far as bringing in office space into the city limits of Mount Juliet, how we go about best creating that, how we can create things together that'll make that more attractive, more tools or more things into the, more items to work with as far as being able to recruit into Mount Juliet and Wilson County. So that's one of the things. And you ask about the county right now. They're in the process of building new fire stations out there. Right now, Mount Juliet's responding to a lot of the ambulance calls and that. We're trying to backfill that and support in every way that we can on that. So, when it comes down to taking care of it, everybody's kind of got a rivalry. And as you said, my focus is on Mount Juliet. We're always trying to take care of what we represent, but at the same time, things like emergency services with the ambulance services, we're going to be there for each other, and we're going to do what we have to do to put that together, make sure people are taken care of. That's ultimately what we're here for.
There's been such a change, such a recent change here, really, with emergency service, especially with your ambulance service and firefighting. And I wonder what I would imagine you've gotten a lot of support and a lot of compliments, even within the city and otherwise. Am I right?
Yes, in the last couple of years, we've been very aggressive about expanding our capabilities, getting us to the level that we wanted to be at. Getting the 3 on the iOS rating was a big deal for us. We were targeting a 4, but we were able to skip the 4 altogether and go to the 3, which we thought was a really big accomplishment considering the age. Just back in the 2019 budget, we're actually reducing the number of firefighters that we have on staff, but we've been able to correct that with the station up on Green Hill finally opening up. A lot of supply chain issues on getting that station open, but it's going to be opened up here soon. We're in the process of hiring to staff that one fully. We'll have our 3rd ambulance in that one as well. And, right now the goal is finding new property for the station that's behind City Hall and getting that rebuilt.
One of the things I think you prided yourself on over the years is a low tax rate. And none of us like to see a property tax increase. You've been able to do an awful lot with limited taxation.
Yes, we've cut a couple of years ago. We cut the tax rate, wound up cutting it 2 times in one calendar year. So That was an interesting thing. We had an adjustment down by the property. When the property was reassessed, we had an adjustment on that, but we went ahead and cut it. I think the adjustment brought it in like 12 and a half. I'll just say 12 and a half cents. And we cut it down to 11 on that. We generate about $2 million annually off our property tax off that. Haven't seen the budget books yet. I'm anticipating about somewhere around 27, 28, maybe $30 million general fund budget for this year. So it makes up for us. It's a small portion of our budget. It's important for us that we have that, but primarily
tax is a big thing.
That's our biggest driver. There is our sales tax on it, and it leaves the city heavily focused on retail and our commercial activities out that, because that's where we pay the bills on it. That's how we're able to keep the taxes where we are. Last night I gave a shout out to Taylor Swift. Because of her efforts, every hotel room in the city of Mount Juliet was sold out over the weekend at a rate of $300 to $500 a room. So,
wow!
And all that tax revenue that we collect from the hotel motel tax goes right back to our park system. So, if
the price, it's supply and demand thing.
Yes.
And if the demand is there and the price of that hotel or motel goes up, there's a bigger tax on the higher price, right?
That is correct.
That's the way it works.
I saw Metro Nashville had given her a park bench, and I thought, well, we may owe her a park bench too.
Well, it's amazing the how many people when there are 3 shows.
I believe that's correct.
And one of them, they waited till 10 o'clock on Sunday night, I think, for the rain to quit. I think that's what was in the news anyway. Well, so you have reaped a few dollars because of that.
Yes.
What about your budget process? It is May, and most of the time, it seems, I know in the county they used to wait till August to finalize the budget, but even the county usually is now trying to have that in place by the end of June. City of Lebanon is nearly always by the end of June. I think Watertown does too.
Yes.
You have yours in place by the end of June, don't you?
Oh, we will, or we'll have some explaining to do to the state, but we will have it. We have actually a budget workshop on the 15th or this coming Monday. We'll be getting budget books at some point this week. They wanted to have them out yesterday, but there were just a few other changes that they'll have. But we may get our budget books today to just start going through that process. We'll have a workshop to review it, and then we'll have the first reading on it this last meeting here in May. And that gives us 2 meetings to do a second reading there, so we can get the first or second on June.
Well, you have an increased appropriation for new employees. Are you in hiring mode in the city of Mount Juliet?
Oh, definitely. We've got several, just going through the reports there on it, largely due to the emergency services. Opening that new station is up. We had a budget amendment last night for a new planning department technician was on the budget last night. That's deferred a meeting. But that one's on there, and then there's going to be numerous others. Our public works director, he's going to TDOT, and we're going to miss him. So we may have some more hires as a result of that.
Well, I guess it's you don't like to lose a good employee like that. If somebody can better themselves, and that speaks well for what you've been doing there, that they're quality for the state, I think, and that would be a step up.
Yes, I mean it's a nice promotion for him, I think, is maybe a better way to say it, or it's a great opportunity. That's maybe the best way to put it. I like to think that we're trying to populate TDOT from Mount Juliet so that we've got a lot of insiders there. That's
Well, traffic is still a big issue. Growth is an issue.
Correct.
You're trying to deal with that, no doubt, the best you can. Any traffic issues to talk about this morning?
Well, we have a lot of things in the, I guess in the hopper to try to address those. There's always going to be some traffic, and we know that. And we know we can't always build our way out of traffic. Congestion is going to be there. You build a new road, I mean, it's going to induce demand for that road. So more people are going to take it. People will reprioritize as new loads come on. We're expecting to get Adams Lane reopened back up here within a few months. We've had that under construction as BJ's is being constructed right there beside it. But we've got a lot of the same challenges south of town. We got challenges with Lebanon Road. Unfortunately, Lebanon Road, the state had accepted all the documentation on that as far as environmental studies that finally got those accepted. But unfortunately, that kind of got processed a little too late to get in this year's budget. So we're going to be another year out removed before the state will release any money for right-of-way acquisition. And that's probably a 2 to 3 year process for that.
So here you're talking about towards Lebanon on 70 there, widening
Yes, sir.
that, up to the school maybe, or all the way to 109?
Well, there's a project the state's going, separate from the city, right in front of West Elementary, where they're putting in some turning lanes. That's a safety project that the state's taking on. They're gonna arrange theirs so it will taper into our project. Our project was initially going to end there before West. We had to have some ways to taper it back down from 5 to 2 lanes, and they're going to take this new safety project and we'll tie into it directly and let it be the taper going into it. I know there is some efforts being done by TDOT and the state to close that last gap between 109. It's not something the city's directly involved in, but I do know the work is going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've come to the end of our time here. James, thanks so much for your visit. We appreciate you taking time to come here and spend 30 minutes with us. Well, 25 anyway this morning. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Mount Juliet Mayor James Manus, that's part one of Coleman and Company, presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We've got more. Keep it here, FM 98.9.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
30% chance for showers and thunderstorms this morning. Partly sunny this afternoon, high of 81. Partly cloudy tonight, low 54. Sunshine Wednesday, high of 81 with a low of 58. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's your update on weather on Real Country.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Welcome to part 2. Sean Dozier has arrived and ready to talk about Hearthside Senior Living, 15 Castle Heights Avenue North, right here in Lebanon, Tennessee. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. Catch my breath. Need to catch my breath for a second.
Were your ears burning you over the weekend?
No?
Well, we have a mutual friend, Steve Thompson. Steve Thompson is Liz Thompson's son. He actually lives in Mississippi.
Yes.
He came in over the weekend, and Helen and I, he's my cousin, but his mother and I are first cousins. But he stopped. We were eating at the same place on Saturday night, and when he saw us, came over and spent some time at our table as we waited for the food, and it was nice to see him again. And he asked me about you, and I said, yeah, I see him every week.
Yeah, I got to know Steve through, of course, his mom was at Hearthside for many years, and he was always there and supporting her. And I think on Facebook, he came into town and saw several of his former students and ball players.
Yeah.
And
well, the one reason I mentioned this, he specifically mentioned you and spoke very highly of you and Hearthside.
Well, thank you very much.
All right. So now, carry on.
Well, no, I'm glad to be here, and I always like to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. You know, it's a wonderful senior living community. I was reading this past week about loneliness and social isolation. You know, we get a lot of calls from, family members, maybe a daughter or son who sees their mom or dad and they're just lonely, or you get to an age where you don't have as many friends living anymore, and so you sort of isolate yourself. And one of the things assisted livings do is they provide that socialization for residents that they don't get maybe in that season of their life. So they really enjoy when they move into an assisted living, they really, most of all, they enjoy the socialization. They enjoy talking to people again, eating with people again, doing activities with their peers again, and it really does make a difference as far as their attitude and their whole countenance. It's just amazing how over a few weeks it makes a difference in their whole mood and attitude and their outlook on life when they have that socialization. And I read where loneliness can be just as equally as harmful to you as cigarette smoking. So I don't have any statistics to prove that, but that article is suggesting that loneliness and social isolation is a major component of why people choose assisted living and independent living, so they can get that that quality time with people. Nobody likes to be around people all the time, but nobody likes to be by themselves all the time either. Right. And so when people move into an assisted living, they're out of their rooms a lot. They're out of their rooms for 3 meals a day. We have two or three activities a day, and on the weekends we have a worship service. So they're out of their rooms a lot. They get that interaction with people, and when we put people together at the table with their fellow folks in the assisted living, they really do get to know people, and they talk about things, and it's just wonderful. Really, it's just wonderful to see how they change over time, and it really does make a difference.
You no doubt have seen this over
and over again. I tell people, give us a week, and you'll see a difference, and it really does. It really is true.
Any openings right now?
No, we're full. We're full in our assisted living. We're full in our independent living. We have a wait list for both, but we make room for people as rooms become available, and it won't be too long.
Well, it's good to get on a waiting list, especially if that's your future destination.
Well, that's right. You just don't. It's not like you go to Walmart and pick up some shampoo. It's assisted living is a little more long-term process, and it takes time to move furniture. It takes time to kind of in your mind get to the point where you're ready to move, and so it's always good to be on a wait list.
But that does give you you work from the top.
I work from the wait list. Yeah, we go straight down, and if you're not ready, that's fine. We'll keep you on the wait list. No charge for the wait list. No charge in the assisted living for the wait list. No charge in the independent living for the wait list. So it's all free. It's just you're on the list if we have a room available.
Well, you always like for people to come see you. You welcome.
I welcome it. Yeah, we don't require you to call ahead. We just like for you to show up, and we'll be glad. Any of us will be glad to give you a tour. If you want to call ahead, that's fine. If you want to have lunch with us or have dinner with us, or you want to have a cup of coffee, if you want to call ahead of time, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to just show up and see what we do day to day, many times that's the best way to see what these communities are all about.
Well, we love your phone number because it tells us how long you've been around. 615-443-1994.
Yeah, we served a lot of folks over the years, Coleman. A lot of those people, and just in my 5 or 6 years there, it's been neat to get to know a lot of those families and residents.
Well, we like to say Hearthside Senior Living when it's time for a helping hand, and you have your hand, and your staff has their hand out to help. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And 615-443-1994. Our website, we don't mention very often, but our website is hearthsideliving.com or .org, and you can see all of our room rates, and you can see all of our room plans. You can see our house designs as far as the independent living. You'll see all that right there on our website. A lot of people go to the website first to check out things anyway, so I encourage people to go and visit there.
Hearthsideliving.org
or .com, either one.
Either one. Mm-hmm. Oh, .com, .org. Yeah. Okay, Hearthside Living. Well, are you ready for Hearthside Hello?
Yeah, I think I've given Wendell Edwards a shout out before, but Wendell's wife, Jan Edwards, I see her all the time. She has a friend down at the Independent Living, and I've seen her at several events lately. So I know she listens to us. So I wanted to say hello to Jan Edwards. I think you know Wendell Edwards.
I know Wendell Edwards. I've known Wendell Edwards for a long time.
Well, I think I did give him a Hearthside hello one time, but I haven't given one to Jan Edwards, and I've known her a long time. I grew up with Stephen, their son, and they're just great people.
Well, they really are, and I'll tell you what, Wendell has a nickname.
What's that?
Sparky.
Is there a story behind that?
Well, I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what, he is one excellent pool player.
Oh, okay.
He beat me the last time we played. Yesterday, I guess.
Are you still playing cornhole? Are you giving?
Yeah, I'm trying to play.
Well, anyway, hello to Jan Edwards, and hope she has a great week. And I hope you have a great week too, Coleman, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, great. Well, you have a great one yourself, and we look forward to your visit every week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coleman.
Sean Dozier, Executive Director, Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North, right here in Lebanon. We are 21 before the hour, and I want to welcome the Director of Schools for the Lebanon Special School District, Mr. Brian Hutto. Good morning.
Morning, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's good to see you today. And it was only, I guess, last Friday that we talked about your pre-kindergarten and kindergarten registration and health fair that's scheduled today.
Yes, sir.
So I saved my little information sheet, and I thought we'd just start out just mentioning that this morning, because this is an important day and a special day for people, even if you've already registered, what is going to be offered at College Hills Church of Christ today in a way of screenings and a lot of other things that we talked about Friday. This is the day.
That is correct, Coleman. The perfect segue. I had that on my list as well, so I appreciate you bringing that up. We did a call last night to our families, but pre-kindergarten it's immensely valuable. Dr. Thompson, we've talked about her before, State Supervisor of the Year. She runs a fantastic program. So today, for those that are interested in pre-K and for all of our incoming kindergarten students, we have a health fair, but registration is the key component. With the times we've moved a lot of these things to online, but this is a great opportunity to come in. You get to interact with the school-based teams, figure out where you're going. We get a lot of the screeners and information out of the way so that when school comes, which will be soon, you're ready to go. So once again, that's at College Hills Church of Christ from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm going to run through the documents they need if that's
sure,
okay.
Sure.
So what we request is certified birth certificate, Tennessee Department of Health immunization certificate, current physical, 2 proofs of residence, and then any custody paperwork if that's applicable. But those proofs of residence, something recent, a bill, rental statement, lease agreement, those sorts of things. But we have people there to scan those in for you if you're not able to.
Well, if you can't make it till 5:45, okay. But if you can come, don't keep the people who've been there all day. If you can come a little bit early, let them get out of there by 6 if possible. It'd be nice.
That would be nice, and that's why we kind of have those extended hours from 10 to 6. And for some people, they just cannot make it. Work won't allow it. We're flexible with that, but we really encourage those that are interested, especially, all of them, to come on in, give us a chance to welcome you and say hi and get all the paperwork situated that you need.
And take advantage of all that's there available for you.
That's correct.
A lot of people are volunteering, and I think it means a lot for the whole system.
It does. It's really it's a great partnership with College Hills. They give us their space, and we have a lot of services there that benefit families. So it's good.
All right, what else is on your mind this morning? You've got a lot of information here I can see already.
Sure. Well, we had a board meeting last night, and so there was not a lot of business items, but I want to give a shout out to our board, Mr. Jones, Mr. Tomlinson, Mr. Thacker. So last night was really a recognition meeting, and it was an opportunity for us to highlight and showcase our paraprofessionals of the year, our teachers of the year, and then we had a spotlight on students. Winfrey Bryant presented last night, and their students, several of their art students. Coleman, I'm going to tell you, we've got really, really impressive talent. And we talk athletics a lot, and we talk academics quite a bit. Having this venue for students, and it was really impressive to see the artwork that they had produced, hear them talk about why they did it, and what they got out of the art. So that was really neat to see. But then we rolled into our recognition, and so just a little recap: paraprofessional and teacher of the year, those 2 separate things. It's voted on by the staff at each building. There's a process. They'll make nominations. They'll tell why. It's not just I want it this go around. So it's a big deal. So we had that opportunity for Byers Dowdy for Parapro of the Year. We had Toy McGrady, Castle Heights, Amber Purvis, Coles Ferry, Brittany Hahn, Jones Brummett, Samantha Reinhold, Sam Houston, Tammy Heflin, Walter J., Nell Estes, and from Winfrey Bryant was Rebecca Wilson. And then our teacher of the year, Byers Dowdy, Mary Neal Estes. She's been with us for a long time. Castle Heights, Erica Chick. She was also the district representative. For Coles Ferry, Julie Wagner. Jones Brummett was Carol Smallwood. Neat little fact, those 2 are sisters. So they've got some good family teaching dynamics. Sam Houston, Cinda Naylor, Walter J. was Aubrey Sarrow, and then from Winfrey, Adam Lipshe. So that part was fun.
Well, that's nice to be able to recognize those the para. What
Educational assistant, your wife, it's what your wife would have done many moons ago.
That's what
we
I
fancy
remember.
up the name a little bit because they deserve it.
But they do really a lot of, I guess you'd say, a lot of grunt work, but they're very valuable. And I know from Helen doing that for I think 25 years. There's a lot that goes into that, even though they're not teachers. They're in the classroom helping.
It is extraordinarily valuable, and the day could change hourly, but they serve capacities. The grunt work's a good term for it, but they're small group instructors, they're counselors when they need to be, they help with cafeteria, they help cover classrooms, bus duty. I mean, you name it. It sort of, we've used that term, Swiss Army knife. They'll cover lots of different things. So,
but congratulations to your teachers. You mentioned Cindy Naylor. I remember her from a lot. She's been there a good while.
Correct. So lots of things we got to celebrate on the front end of our meeting. Then we rolled into the one business item, which was tenure. And tenure, for those that are unaware, after X number of years, then a district has the opportunity and the board approves to grant tenure to a teacher. And it's on 5 years, and there are scores involved. There's lots of things we have to check. But we had about 10 people that were eligible for tenure for this school year. And so real quick, I'll run through those. For Castle Heights, Dawn Denton. Jones Brummett was Lauren Montgomery. And then we had several at Winfrey Bryant, Whitney Amos, Chelsea Canaday, Rachel Hill, Christy Hutto, Adam Lipshe, Courtney McFarland, and Carrie Morgan, and we're really excited about that, and the teachers really get excited. So tenure, it just gives them that, I put my time in, I've made an investment, and so this is an opportunity for the board to say, we're investing in you, and we're going to give you this title. So that was the one big business item we had last night.
We know school is, it's May, school's going to be out real soon here, and I don't know when you want to address that, but we need to take a break too.
Sure.
But what, you got about 2 more weeks of school, and that's it?
It is flying, Coleman. So last student day is May the 23rd, and then we'll have a work day, and then report card day is May the 25th.
And
be here soon.
All right. Brian Huttel is the Director of Schools for Lebanon Special School District. My guest this morning. We're going to take a break here on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
At Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, world-class care is a heartbeat away. In fact, we offer the same world-class attention Middle Tennessee has come to rely on from a Vanderbilt Health hospital. Supported by over 200 specialties, an expanded emergency department staffed with Vanderbilt Health physicians 24/7, and greater investments in life-saving technologies and care. It's just one more way we're making healthcare personal.
Coleman & Company, thanks for joining us. We welcome you to our final segment here for Tuesday morning. Glad to have Mr. Brian Huttel with us this morning. And you've made it throughout the school year here. This is your first year as director.
Yes, sir.
It's been a good year, hasn't it?
It has been a stellar year. I was speaking with we're in budget season, and so as part of that process, we sit down with each department and we talk through, where they're currently at with budget and then moving forward. But having that chance to sit and really think about how the years progressed, and there are hurdles. There have been speed bumps. We acknowledge that, but the support that I have from the board to the central office, and we're working to take care of teachers, and that's really, I'm not going to say unique. There are a lot of really good districts around us. We've got Wilson County Schools, Mr. Luttrell, I love him to death, but we really benefit from a community that takes care of us. So it's been good.
We got to say that although you had been a part of the school system for some time, you take over as director, I believe, last June or July. This is your
Yes, sir.
First year doing that, and even though you've seen a lot and familiar with the way things go, and know the board members by first name and all of this, it's still that first year. You're glad to get that under your belt, no doubt.
Yes, sir. There's a learning curve, and it's funny if you're a reflective person when you think back to what you thought you knew, and then what you've learned, and I will say the hard parts of this, you get to a point where you realize how much better it makes you. So each event we learn from, and as I've said before, I can't brag on our staff at the central office and just our principal teams. They make the work really enjoyable, and when we do have those moments, we know we can work through it. So it's been good.
What else do you want to tell everybody this morning?
Sure. So I would like to, strategic plan.
Okay.
Each school district has a strategic plan, and one of the things we have safety plans, we have school plans, and strategic plan is the board votes on it, and it sort of sets their priorities. So we assist with that. I've been in about a year-long process of meeting with different stakeholders. We met with Kiwanis, we met with Rotary, we meet with all of our school-based teams, parents, and we say, so what are we doing well, and where can we grow, and what do we need, those sorts of questions. And from that, we draft, these are our priorities, and that's what the strategic plan represents. So real quick, we came up with 4 goals, and we can have dialogue about that, but the first goal has to do with academic achievement. That's what we're highly qualified to do. Our teachers are stellar, our administrators, but and within that goal are the different markers we want students to be successful, because we want them to have outstanding learning every day. That's what we say. Goal 2 is new. It's not that it wasn't in this plan before, but it revolves around student safety, support, and well-being. It lived in the document in various places, but being where we are and the initiatives that we're doing, it needed its own place. Goal 3 is recruit, retain, and cultivate high-quality employees. That's been a major initiative for us.
And you did say employees, not just teachers.
That is everybody, Coleman. It takes a village, from bus drivers to one of my. So I came from Coles Ferry, and Mr. Sammy, he's retiring this year, and he works in the cafeteria. And I love Mr. Sammy. They sent me a note the other day that he had decided he was going to hang it up. But it's just a testament to our district. It doesn't matter what role you have; you're important to all of us. So, but yeah. Recruit, retain, cultivate high-quality employees. So that's goal 3. And goal 4 is ensure resource responsibility. That's making sure we're financially sound, that our goals, that what we spend money on is supporting our initiatives. So we're excited we presented that to the board last night. They'll make edits over the next month, and they'll come back and say, hey, I want to rearrange this, or can we add this? So we're excited to finish this process up. We'll do that in June.
Well, I am wondering, as you said that last one there, and thinking in the future, how long before you're probably going to have another school, either elementary or middle school?
That's correct. So as projections sit right now, an elementary would be our next build. We have property adjacent to Jones Brummett, and it was purchased with that intent to do a middle school. It was built with that intent. And so I'd say a few years ago, you'd said our next would be a middle school, but our growth, it's across the board, but particularly in our lower grades, that's what we continue to see. In fact, we've grown so much, we got additional funds through the state. That check came last week. We always like checks, but it just supports the number of students we've added. So elementary school, and as we talked to the last session, and we were able to purchase some property. We close on that today on Leeville Pike, and that's about just a bit over 30 acres. And so that'll be our next site, and we don't have a timeline. I don't want people to think, oh, we'll see one in a couple years. We're doing all the pre-construction pieces so that when we say we're financially sound, we're ready to go, we can take off.
Well, I think you have been able to operate, be able to plan ahead and not be under the gun to come up with a new school, and that's good if you can do it.
Oh, that's good. Proactive is the best approach. When you get into that reactive setting, some things can struggle, and you're cramming kids in classrooms, or you're adding teachers, or you're putting them in broom closets. I mean, you utilize every space, and we'll get creative. Teachers are phenomenal at that. Building administrators, but we don't want to have to do that, and so that's another. We could tout our school board just for their foresight to make that a priority. Let's get the land, let's be set, let's stay ahead of the curve. And so Mr. Benson, I took over for him, and I talked to him weekly. I just saw him last week, but he really ingrained that process with me, that we want to stay ahead, we want to keep our finger on it. We've got a great relationship with Mayor Bell and the Planning Commission, so we're in a good place.
As far as number one there, and of course the education thing, and what I'm I know we've had to deal with the aftermath of COVID, and the fact that there was not the classroom setting that we would have liked for a year or so there, and there's been some consequences to deal with because of that. But how do things look at the end of this school year as far as progress in that area?
Yeah, so really, really excited, and that'll be probably one of my favorite shows we have. So when we come back in the fall, and I'm able to share the academic progress that our students have made.
You don't really know for
We
sure.
do know. Oh, yeah. We know. What I'm talking about is TCAP. That's the number. That's the I guess the measure that most people know.
Yeah.
As a school system, we have any number of measures. We'll do universal screeners. We'll do benchmarks. So what we can say is that that learning loss, I would say lag. Loss sounds like it just vanished, and students didn't lose it. They just didn't have the time with the content. And so what we've worked on the past 2 years, really, especially this year, is digging into where are the gaps. And so we're looking at percentage of students reading on grade level. That's our big marker. If a student can read, we open the world to them. And so each school has a goal that they're striving towards, and we're well on our way. I'm excited about what our end of year numbers will look like. We'll talk more in our next meeting, but it's good.
All right. How long? It's 2 weeks from now, basically.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, 2 weeks from today, I believe, is the last full day of school, you said.
Correct.
So how long after that until you'll be doing whatever you're going to do summer school-wise?
Summer camp will start that following week. We've been navigating summer camp for a few years now, and school is really a year-round business at this point, and we're okay with that. It's a great opportunity for teachers. They get some extra revenue, which is always a good thing. But for a lot of our students, they really enjoy that opportunity to come in, and it's a different environment than the regular school day. It's a little bit smaller. Intimate is it's the best word, because they get more attention. We have some fun activities, but there's some really, really good learning. So during the school year, we've got a set of standards. We've got a pacing guide. We've got to stick to that.
So that will start then immediately. You might be 2 or 3 days.
That's correct.
Break, and then that's going to, 4 weeks, I believe is.
4 weeks. We'll run through June, and then we'll close down the buildings for a little bit and finish up cleaning process and be ready to go.
All right. Well, I think this has been overall, it's been a good school year.
I agree.
And we didn't have too many snow days. One of the things you have had a problem with is employees and bus drivers and even teachers. Now, how does all that look at this point?
So we're in really good shape. We were able to post vacant positions earlier this year than we ever have. So we had those early March, and we didn't have a lot of vacancies. Most of our positions were filled throughout the year. We did a push for bus drivers to start the school year. Mr. Ashley, our transportation director, has been very good with supporting our drivers. We will always take more, but as it stands, we're in good shape. Our principals are diligently filling all of our openings, either through retirement or growth. That's particularly what we have. And so...
what about cafeteria people and custodial people?
Cafeteria and custodial, we contract our custodial folks through ABM, and they handle that hiring process. But we've got great custodians. And so, that's another one. If you're interested in being around kids and you like to serve in that capacity, we'll find you a spot. Cafeteria workers, Miss Angie in the cafeteria, she's always looking for folks that are willing to come and help, and that's a different schedule, and that works for a lot of people. But if you call our central office with any of those interests, we'll get you set up for sure.
Well, it sounds like, honestly, it sounds like things are going pretty well. It hasn't been all that rough a year, your first year as director.
It has been, I'm blessed with the support system, and I could say that repeatedly. We just have a good group of people that are working to serve kids. And when we have issues, we know we can figure out the solution. And if we have to make corrections, we make them. So those parts are really good. And hurdles, you talked about weather. Who would have thought you would have taken a windy day? I mean, that was one of those decisions. The number kept bumping up. And when you hit that 60-mile-an-hour mark, what that can do to buses and we'd have kindergartners rolling down the road, Coleman. So interesting weather events this go around, that's for sure.
Well, no question about that. How about your teacher supply? We haven't talked about that. And well, really, that's not what I want to ask. We just got a minute here, but sometimes there'll be a principal that'll either move somewhere else or retire. You think everybody's locked in for next year?
Hey, so that's a perfect segue. I'm going to bring him next time. So we had a new principal at Castle Heights Elementary, Dr. Armstrong, who's currently there. She has taken a central office position with us, and she's going to be honing in on recruiting, retaining teachers, what we talked about in a goal. But Mr. Nathan Gordon is going to be take over that principal capacity. Comes to us from Wilson County. He's got a great background, excited, fired up, but I'll have him on, and he was the last administrative piece that we had to fill, but he's ready to go.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us. A lot of information this morning. We appreciate it. And don't forget the pre-kindergarten and kindergarten registration and health fair today over at College Hill Church of Christ, 10 to 6, if that is where you need to be. Thank you again. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, Coleman.
That is going to do it for Tuesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for Coleman and Company. Till then, I wish you a tremendous day.